Yeah, make,
9 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
we're not the first on the agenda. They gotta get out of the way.
Is there any additions to the agenda or? Not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Joan. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. The meeting minutes were sent out. There was June 17th and June 7th.
And the county board of appeals minutes.
We can do them all at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the board of appeals minutes also.
What o'clock? No, it's a terrible. Yeah. Yeah. Where you gonna be? I didn't think. Zoom. What's that? This is Zoom. Yeah. You got Eddie and his. You know, Zoom, web.
You need a motion for the minute? I'll make that motion.
You got a motion to approve the minutes? We get a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. The warrants are also sent out.
The question for Matt, that whole location where Otter Drive Power, is that part of a certain, what project would that be part of? That was in the, that was a normal expense in that part of that project, or?
It was probably about a year ago, I brought that agreement with Otter Tail Power to the board. That was, they had poles that were in our private easement that we needed to move. So, just fulfilling a contract that.
No one with push the new dealership in Morris that 40-some thousand dollars, is that a new pickup?
Yep.
Did you trade something in? Or,
Not yet.
that sounds like a pretty good deal for a pickup.
Yeah, they've been surprisingly, the prices have been steady for many years now.
Yeah.
on This truck, so. And the quality seems to be getting better too, so.
We should be getting to the tail end of the WSB stuff, correct?
Yeah.
And $906, so we're about done planning.
Yep, we're about done unless we give an audit or something. There's some final paperwork, so that's forward.
Reed being here in the room,
Sure.
that pictometry, that
Yep.
EcoView pictometry.
Yep.
Is that price going up
I would
from
assume.
the last time we did it?
No, this is for like that 3-year deal, you know, we budget
Yeah,
third, and that's. So, no, I haven't heard, Carl would maybe know too, but I haven't heard it's going up, but they haven't sent anything saying it's cost has gone up, which usually they send out an update.
I've not heard of pictometry having any price increases.
Well, we're under contract, right? The contract would tell us what those prices are. We're not just paying without a contract and hoping that in 3 years that, yeah, that'll be what it is.
No, we're in year 2 of our 3-year contract right now. So we'll know what the next flight cost is for the next go around as well. And hopefully with Reed and I going to this Esri conference, there'll also be other imagery companies there that to see whether they're comparable with pictometry or not.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to pay the bills.
We have a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
And a second, any discussion on any of the bills? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. The Humane, or the Humane Society, were they gonna come or not?
No, Bill asked for that to be on the agenda.
Yep. Was just an update on what's happening there, and they appreciate the support and things like that, and, you know, they never plan for coming to the meeting, but if we want them here, we'll make a request. They sent me the letter and I just forwarded on their email, and I just forwarded on to Tina.
Okay.
So that's all that is.
But there's a request for a donation, isn't there?
You know, it's in our budget.
Okay,
We moved up from, I think it was $5,000, I meant, we moved up to 10 last year, I think, or the year before,
well, no motion, just an update.
just an update. And whether we want them to come to the board, how much Chair do you want them, have them come for a presentation, or what are you thinking?
Well, they usually do that whenever they request.
Additional, right?
Yeah,
So if we're all good with it, then I'll let them know that they don't need to come.
yeah.
You okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
There's. I don't know, but to add that. So that was just informational, right, Bill?
Correct. stating they appreciate what we do for them.
Okay, we have Boise Sioux watershed here. This will take care of that.
I think Chad was gonna take it for. Z. It's not on. Okay,
We can wait till.
I'm here for support, but I'll take the spotlight if you want me to.
He's maybe jumping on 9:15, where is voice? Smart, so I know he's up there.
He did send it to me, so,
We got the letter.
yeah. I think.
Yeah, what was that under? I can't
Spotlight,
find it.
You would like,
It was.
well, it's more.
Five words that, it should be, okay. Was in. Right.
This is 10 years in the making, isn't it? Or more?
Probably. Yeah, contractors are hired for both projects and I think 21, they're gonna get started after the 4th of July is what I heard. And 3 things are happening, right? I think
So you need some money.
we're gonna need some money.
I need some money.
I'm gonna be writing some checks. It doesn't, we're not doing any red path construction this year, so I've got a little room, but
We're still $250,000 tied into this 55 project, correct?
yeah, I'd love to give you that money
Yeah,
before someone else spends it.
yeah,
You're moving dirt on that though?
yes, as we speak.
Oh. So we're just looking to approve or set the engagement letter, correct? So I think. There were 2 documents and Heather Casperson is on also if Chad doesn't hop on. I don't see Heather either.
Should be.
Both documents you guys received in your packet.
Yep.
Do you know with that, you know, them, they're like, they're not reading in them though.
Well, okay. I can do it.
You're on.
So you've got 2 documents, I think an engagement letter and then is there a disclosure statement? So, your bond counsel is regulated and there's certain things that they're required to disclose to you as their customer. So, they have to disclose their fees and how to be able to terminate their contract. And so that's what is described there. I did talk to her a little bit about, the last time we were here, they were talking about the ability of, you know, Grant County Ditch 3 is the smaller project and those people might want to prepay theirs sooner. So what Heather is recommending is that there actually be 2 bonds issued, same series, 2 bonds, but that she'd likely be able to place that smaller bond locally. And she'll get recommendations from the staff on who might be interested in that. It's still sort of a public sale, but, it just gives them a little more flexibility to hold that bond at a shorter 10-year term. And, we can probably save some fees that way too. So it would be 15-year amortization on Grant County Ditch 21, and then a 10-year on 3 with the ability to prepay that and probably help locally. So I think she needs approval of the disclosure and the ability for the chair to sign the engagement letter. Nobody hopped on. It's weird to me. I talked to both of them yesterday. So.
I will make a motion to approve the engagement letter and authorize the chair to sign it.
We have a motion on the floor. Get a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried.
Thanks.
Oh, we gotta do the disclosure yet. They were
Oh.
two separate ones.
Sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the disclosure.
I'll second it, Mr. Chair. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
We're not-
Do yours first.
Okay.
Obviously, yeah. Morning, folks. Since Jamie's still here. I think we can jump to do that fish setter deal first since she's here, Doyle.
Yep.
Not to waste her, so. I think most of you are aware of this spot, but on 27 there, at ditch 8 by Tim Backman's, there's that pipe that keeps fish, or was supposed to keep fish from going. From all that watershed there into Nemackle, when they did the Nemackle project back in the day. Well, that was since come and gone and didn't work. It kind of worked. It's caused a bunch of erosion issues. So now they have those fish in those lakes anyways, so it's kind of a moot point. And the ditch system didn't pay to put it in. It was put in by the state back in the day. And now they're looking at taking out the pipe or trying to salvage it, and then instead of being at this steep grade, laying it flat. And then putting rock riffles to try and slow that water down, get rid of that erosion. So they're going through that one watershed one plan money to do that, and it would be a Boyd Sioux deal. So they asked if we would sign a letter of support saying, yep, we support, so that when they go after some additional funding. They have support from both the county and the soil and water office. And Thursday, they did their letter of support, their board was approved, so.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. Wasn't there a commitment out of the DNR? Way back when we started these conversations, where we were gonna take it out and they were gonna pay the bill, remember that, Jamie? Tracy was the engineer at the time.
Yeah, and was that Kevin Kotz?
Yes,
I don't know. They have a $500,000 grant that we could apply for. So, and so far the DNR is supportive of us doing this. So
Okay.
we will pursue that.
okay, so
So it's possible.
could be funds available to do that. Okay, so they ain't levied on the ditches.
As
Great.
much as possible. We don't want the ditch to pay for it.
Right.
And then there's gonna be a Highway 27 project here. I kind of keep pushing that. around.
27, I heard
Okay.
the last time they
I
gave
think we
it.
wanted, I don't wanna do it before they do that, but.
Yeah, to do it all at one crack, we're trying to,
27.
yeah, that would make sense. That's what we're hoping.
You're talking new boxes and ditch 8 along 27, or what are you
No.
talking?
Just a road project, just the road, and they say they're not even really gonna expand beyond that, so we'll see, but
Well,
it'd just be a lot of construction,
the hornet's nest that got created over there by Tim Backman's,
yeah.
you know, they gotta make sure that it's their pipe.
Yeah.
It's our ditch, or your ditch now, I should say, excuse me.
We had that one weird agreement where it should be their culvert, but for some reason the watershed agreed to maintain it forever. So I don't know, there's weird things that happened on 27 that
Okay,
you don't really find out till it's time to pay the bill.
right. Exactly.
And this is a good project without, trying to correct this.
Yeah.
Well, they've been talking about it for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
There was a big push a couple of years ago for it, but then the funding kind of disappeared and now it's kind of got some going again, so.
And then on the water side, the ditch is full of water, they can just swim wherever they want anyway.
Yeah.
And Kevin got retired, so then they dropped the ball, or it's probably been done a long time.
And it probably all happened about when the legacy fund started. So since the legacy fund, we actually have room to do these projects.
Okay.
So I'll entertain a motion to, for this letter of support to approve that.
Well, I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair. If you would sign it.
Get a second? I'll second it. Motion and second, any more discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, carried.
The other deal for the agenda is that, page labeled Grant County Solid Waste Recycling Program Update Timeline for 25. So like we talked with the work section, we're gonna try and get all these carts we got figured out here. So what this is kind of the timeline. So we had our update here this morning. And we've worked it through. Now we're gonna come back here at the 15th meeting and say, okay, you've had some time to discuss it with people, digest it, figure out this route you wanna go. And that's when we can decide, yep, we're gonna go to this carts, everybody's gonna get them, we can order them and keep the wheels going. And then in the next, August, we'll do those public meetings and the mailers out to people so that they know this is coming and we have these meetings, we talk about it. Then come September, October, December, we're giving all those internal deals that we need to get worked out with Ingebrigtsen with ordering and all that kind of stuff. Cause all that stuff takes a lot more time than you would think it takes. It's not just like snap your fingers and it's here. So there's some internal stuff that Greg and I gotta do in the back end and some stuff with Pro West that we gotta do and some stuff with different parts of the program, but majority of it's gonna be that those public meetings and talk through okay, this is the reason why we need to, everybody have carts to, eliminate that deal in the middle where you can just dump as much as you want and pay kind of the least and walk away. We're trying to correct that in hopes that, coming 27, there'll be another similar timeline deal that you guys will see when we get that far. So it's more just a quick update after this morning's work session, but.
So you got,
That's all I got,
okay,
unless you guys got questions.
Well, no, just so we're all clear that we're gonna need to make a decision in 2 weeks on the 15th.
Yes.
If we want Ingebrigtsen's to proceed with the order of canisters.
Then on the 15th, you have to say yes or no, because remember, there's that lead time. It's 3 to 4 months to get those. I would bank more on the 4 than the 3 months in hopes that they come in 3 and we're ahead of the game.
Well, and then they still have to be distributed.
And then that's where the hope is you get time to distribute too, so.
and I think it should be identified, Reed, that the reason this decision is gonna be in front of us is because we're moving to, volume-based
Yep.
structure for the mandatory routes, which is not in place now.
Correct. Yep. So everybody across the board can do that, go over which that we got, that volume based across the whole system. Right now, 2/3 of the system is volume based, so you got that last third is what we're trying to get to volume based here for 26.
Morning, Matt.
Morning, Bill.
Yeah, so we'll put that in our budget. Really fast, going to the budget, go for action again. Oh. That.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Morning, Chair, Commissioners. I got two items for you on the agenda. The first one is, every year we have to do our bridge safety inspections, before you as a professional services agreement with MSA to do our bridge inspections. In this year, typically this is about $12,000 a year. This one is for $35,000 or $38,590. And the reason for that is the Federal Highway Administration is changing the, what do you want to call it, the inspection requirements of all the bridges. They're changing how they're inspected, the process. They're going from what they call the National Bridge Inspection Standards to specifications for National Bridge Inventory. Essentially, it's a kind of the scale would go from 0 to 10 on the old system. Now it's like a 0 to 5 to try to simplify the process nationwide to make sure the bridge are in good condition or not. So they don't have to do in-depth inspections on every bridge in the county, but they are going to have to get eyes on all of them in the county this time around, and then update our the bridge inspection software for all the bridges. So we have the new numbers in our system. So for this agreement, I'll just be looking for approval of the agreement and authorizing me to enter into the agreement with MSA for our bridge inspections.
Make motion to approve that.
$38,590. As a recommendation of the highway committee, I will second that.
We have a motion and a second, any more discussion?
So in the process of simplifying it, they tripled the cost.
Well, typically, we only have to inspect a quarter of our bridges a year. That's kind of, they're on like a 4-year rotation most of the time. But this year we'll have to go through every single one of them this year. Next year it'll be back to the normal price. Just a new system has to be implemented in 2025 according to.
So do you have to do a quarter every, a quarter of them every year, or can you do, so now we'll have all of them done in 25, or can we just do all of them again in 29?
Typically, the way they are spaced out or inspected is based on their inspection reports. Some of them, a typical bridge will be inspected once every 4 years if it's in good shape. If issues start arising in the bridge that they see, the inspection rate starts to increase to once every 2 years. If it gets really bad, then you have to inspect it every single year.
So I was just thinking, if we're only have to do this every 4 years, and this is 3 times the cost of a normal year, why don't we just do it every 4 years? But
I would say if we did it every 4 years, the price would probably be closer to $50,000. Because all the bridges that they did in the past few years that aren't up for inspection, they just need to get eyes on it, just kind of do a brief verification that their numbers are still correct. So in the system, the new numbers will show up and they're just verifying that information.
And they grade them at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like you got overall condition, good, fair, poor.
Yeah. That's essentially
So
what
that
the new
could change.
system is a scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 6 or something.
Right.
Do any of our staff go with them during this, or is that they're solely on their own, or?
No, Aaron will go with them on this. He just recently passed his test. So he needs to get some experience with the inspection and then eventually he can take over.
That's kind of.
Yep.
He did the Chippewa. And that got downgraded, correct, from like 26 ton to 24 ton.
No, the Chippewa MSA, no, that was Collins did the inspection on that.
They did, okay,
Because they had to do, I believe, a more finite element analysis on the steel beams.
okay.
So they have a contract with the state. And the state has them go out and inspect all these fracture critical bridges around the state.
Okay.
And that was one of them. He went along with them, but they
Right,
did the
but the
inspection.
report was generated by them, correct? Okay. I didn't know, I just seen it on the screen, it went from like 26 to 24 ton.
Yeah, that's the only thing that changed on it was
Right.
the one.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, No more, any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
The next item I have is for our the contract for our 2025 traffic marking with Camco Incorporated. Back in, I believe it was April, we awarded the bids for this contract. Well, he lost the contracts when I sent them to him, so. Got him, finally got him back now, so I'm bringing him to the board for approval. He was a little bidder in $53,012.59. So I'd look for approval of this contract. And Camco is also, they also got the contract for our district-wide edge line striping. So they'll be doing that work in the county as well, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the highway straight, or the traffic marking contract.
We have a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Matt, I had some concern about Thistle on 10. I drove it last night. I seen there was mowing. I don't know if that happened yesterday.
Mowing yesterday,
Did they mow yesterday on 10? Okay, I seen there was some that had happened. There's still some thistle out there, but.
Correct. North or south?
Well, can you, from town to the.
On the outslopes,
Yeah,
Dales.
from town.
The back
out
slope.
through the swamp.
Oh, yeah,
But there was a lot of mowing that happened.
In slopes, back slopes.
Oh, we'll take a look at it. Need one more rule. Otherwise, environmental services has an override, so.
yeah. Think you got the sprayer though, huh?
We're mowing, not spraying.
Speaking of spring, are we spraying?
That's on that,
Okay.
Jim. Yep.
Tina?
Right. In the packet is the application for the Grant County Board Committees that you guys had approved to be done. In addition to that form, I brought with the committee assignments. I've kind of been going through and doing some homework to make sure any committees that have term limits on it is identified, so we have a good track of when terms are up. And I do, before we get to the form, I just was going to ask, and looking at the committee assignments, there is the Prairie Ridge Hospital Joint Facilities Committee. And I was just wondering if that is still a committee that's in existence, or if that could be removed off the list.
I've never been invited to a meeting, but there's a lot of discussion between the two. You know, but the joint facilities, you know, is that gonna come full circle now with what's going on with Lake Region, and you know anything about that? So,
I think that committee was probably formed when it was the old hospital and the county owned it.
but was it Prairie Ridge or was it Elia? And then when they built, they turned it into Prairie Ridge. So I don't know if, you know, what we owned in the beginning was called Prairie Ridge. When they built the building, you know, the new hospital, then it went to Prairie Ridge. So I don't know. I think it should be removed. We can always add.
Okay. I will remove it, and then as I'm doing the homework on, what committees have term limits, I'll add them to the list, so moving forward, we'll have those term limits to go along in conjunction with that application for the Grant County Board Committees. I did send that form, and I guess I was just looking to the board. I don't know if it's just a consensus that looks good or if there needs to be an approval for it. But this was discussed a few meetings ago about having this sent out to the members on those committees that have term limits. Just to help organize, to be able to advertise when those vacancies are coming up. Not to say that people currently serving on those committees can't reapply. It's just, again, a consistency, transparency thing to make sure that we're doing it for the committees that have term limits.
The Viking Library does have one,
Yeah, is that a term limit?
yeah,
Okay.
and this was the last year I can be on there.
Keep bringing that up.
Well,
I think Bill got drawn for that, didn't he?
No. When I was, I think, board chair, I think, or take that back, I was on that committee in the beginning.
yeah, you run me on there.
And then, yeah, then I went 6 years and then you were that.
I've been on 8 years and that's all you can be on, I guess.
Okay. Sounds like you were the man for the job.
Does the form look okay?
2 years left now.
Okay, so we don't need an approval on it, just a consensus that it's good? All
Yes.
right,
You're referring to if the application is okay?
correct. Yep,
Does it appear all the names are correct?
the names of the committees or,
For Tina?
oh, yes, I'll have to make a name change. Thank you for catching that. I forget that I have a different last name. Okay. Thank you. The other item, that I included in the packet, I did talk at the department head meeting with the department heads about using a, simple document or one-page, agenda request item form. This is very similar to what Western Prairie uses for their board meetings, just identifying what meeting, who will be there, at the board meeting to present, contact information, if there's a cost, if it's a one-time cost or ongoing, was it budgeted for, a description, and then what the recommended action or motion might be. And then again, at the end, making sure when people are making requests that they provide some sort of document or invoice for payment or donation. So, again, just bringing that forward to the board for informational purposes that, the department head meeting. There wasn't a lot of feedback, one way or the other about it, but I would like to try to help organize board agendas and give us some good information, about the agenda items. So again, just informational piece, for the board. And then the last thing, that I have here is, I did put down some information regarding, the cleaning of the courthouse, and what it's cost to have Service Master come in, for the 3 times that they came in to do the cleaning. The board at the last meeting did approve for that one-time cleaning before the jury trial starts, to not exceed $2,400. So we came up with a punch list of things to be included. And again, the jury trial starts next week, so it's work for this week and weekend that will be done. But for the one-time cleaning, it was the courtroom, floors and woodwork, public areas to include light fixtures, bathrooms, toilet sinks, floors, walls and stalls, elevator, vestibules, railings in the common areas, the front entry windows and the public lobby chairs. And, Heather Ulrich did supply a proposal and will be doing that, for the rate at $70 per hour at $2,380. So that will get done before July 7th. So I wanted to let the board know that. And then, we did talk about the 2 weeks of the jury trial with the extended, traffic or the increased traffic amongst the courthouse. So for the 2 weeks between July 7th and July 18th, we asked her to let us know what it would, you know, what the cost would be to do the bathrooms, the jury room and the 2 conference rooms that will be used, the vestibules and the elevator that will get used quite heavily in the courtroom. And she provided for that punch list, 22.5 hours at that $70 per hour rate. That would be an additional $1,575. And so I just wanted to come to the board today to know if the board would like that to be done. Again, the one-time clean is already scheduled and happening. This is for that 2-week time frame between July 7th and 18th, when we'll have the increased traffic in the courthouse.
Anybody got any thoughts?
Gotta be done.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposal for July 7th through the 18th.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second, any more discussion? No in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
This is just, informational at this time, but considering there might be a gap between the end of the trial and before somebody gets hired on, you know, we're gonna have to consider, and I guess Ashley is here, I'm not sure where we're at in the hiring process, but there might be a time frame from July 18th until that position is filled and onboarded that we will have to consider. And so there might be something coming to the board, in addition to fill that gap. Unless, you know, the process, yeah,
It closes this week, like, you know.
Even if we hire somebody by Monday the 7th, what are the odds that they'll be started by the end? Review where we're at on the 15th.
And that's, you know, we did talk about in, at the last meeting about individual offices getting cleaned. A thorough cleaning of the break room and polishing all brass and polishing floors. And so, again, just for informational purposes, to kind of be thinking about the, you know, the board should think about how, you know, that could be handled in the future. Depending upon this gap frame and things like that, you know, we can talk about it on the 15th, but those are still items that have been discussed in the past that are still open-ended at this time.
So these duties are gonna be just one person? It's gonna do all these duties? Including, I've never seen the job description.
So, yeah, the duties are the cleaning, the courthouse maintenance.
Mowing,
Mowing.
snowing, snow moving,
Yes.
whole 9 yards. One person.
And the only other note that I had is just, again, informational purposes. For full transparency and consistency, we've talked a lot about using board committees and work sessions to kind of have, you know, those discussions when we're talking about things. And one of the things I think would be important is that we look at, kind of a standing meeting date for our committees. It doesn't mean that the committees will meet every single month. They might not have anything on the agenda, but looking at the calendar and putting together kind of that annual calendar for the board, as well as our committee meetings, so everybody knows when they are, so they can know when to bring things forward, for agenda items and things like that. So as we get those things developed, they'll be shared again with the department heads as well as the county board moving forward. But I just wanted to mention that that's kind of a next step thing that we'll be looking at, is building an annual calendar for the board to include, standing committee meeting dates. So everyone is on the same page and knows when those meetings would be held. And that's all I have.
Anybody else have anything?
Good. Discussion on that one.
Oh, on the back here, yeah. This was back on Tuesday when we were on our
Field trip.
field trip. There was a note left at the courthouse. And, the note itself wasn't so concerning, the only reason I wanted it on here was to discuss a little bit of that. There were some commissioners' names on the note, and I feel that we should have been informed that our names are on that note. You know,
Was it signed? Or was it just a piece of paper that had names on it?
well, at least they know who did it. I mean, I don't know if I have the email here, but one of Granite County's finest citizens left a note. Mine and Troy and Kenny's name was on the note. So I just feel we should have been notified that this note was left taped to the basement door of the courthouse.
Is it being investigated now?
It's all done.
We're not. There's been a determination on it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know if I got that on here. I'll see if I can find it.
How did we find out about it? I don't know. Did somebody tell you or?
Yeah, Tina let Troy and I know about it.
Okay. That was after some time then, or?
Well, she let us know that day, but that's not, I don't figure that she should have been the one to let us know about it.
Okay.
So what's the next step?
Well, it's already. It's been,
Been investigated?
Yeah,
So that means it would be public.
yeah.
So is there any idea when the rest of us commissioners are gonna get a chance to look at it?
You can look at it right now if you want.
Well, you got something in the way.
What happened?
Well, you got a customized status bar. Why don't you just send it to my email? Forward it to it.
Mr. Chair, I don't always look at it, but on the June 25th, Grant County Sheriff Activity Report on June 16th, Sheriff's Office received a report of a suspicious paper that had been taped on the door of a local business in the city of Elbow Lake. The deputy responded and entered the paper into evidence and informed the business there would be extra patrol in the area. I just mentioned that a day later, this took place and there's no note of it in the activity report. I don't know if this doesn't rise to being official or not.
I don't even know what it is.
I don't either, but
I don't know. That's not, it's not a phone book. If I don't know who he is. I guess it falls on deaf ears, I'll just sweep it up with it over. No. I said it's falling on deaf ears here. I said I'll sweep it off my shoulder. I don't know the man. First, I'll say it, but, it's not right. Everybody's got First Amendments, you know, statements and things like that, but it's not right.
So is there, anybody had any more discussion over this, or? Dwight, you got anything to say about it?
Well, I'd like to see the note, you know.
Well, that's what it said, but.
But I'd just like to see that, but, yeah, you know, and, it would be nice to know, you know, it would be probably nice to know that, something like that was up there. You know.
I mean, as long as it was investigated, I figured that.
Yeah.
We should have been let know about it.
Yeah.
That's all I got on it.
Start putting the pieces together. I think I know who it is now. I didn't know his last name, but, now I know.
So what? And maybe Dwight, because of your experience, so at what point does something rise to the level where, as an elected, not just us, but other elected and county staff, there's a lot of people in the county doing a lot of things, but at what point does it become?
Well, definitely if there's threats directed towards a person, you know, you gotta let them know so that you can keep an eye out and protect themselves, you know. So,
And my point, I guess, is that the fact that two of the commissioners were aware of it. And there was no official communications, and I found out from our chair that there was no official communication, and I just wonder, is that our normal level of transparency as elected officials?
you said two knew about it?
They were there at the time, yes.
Two of us?
Yeah, I mean, we went in there after we got back from the tour, we went in the courthouse.
Yeah.
That's when you caught wind of it, right? Okay.
I guess the point would be, I don't know how much has to go on in our state. With what's going on, that what rises to a level where we should be, at least have the respect of knowing that there's an event.
Yeah, and I didn't know about it till Doyle told me. Gave me a call, so.
Obviously, the person that would have been responsible for notifying us is not in the room. So we can't expect an answer, I guess.
Well, we've all been subject to ridicule, probably some critical thinking, some critical, you know, statements that were made. Maybe some of them are aggressive, but we still got a constitution in the United States, and every time you go through an election, and every year that you know, you defend the Constitution of the United States, foreign and domestic. So you gotta let people, you know, air their views and, you know what I mean, give them an answer they wanna hear or not hear, but they're gonna have to swallow it if the decision that was made.
Any more discussion on this? Otherwise, that's all we got for our board committee updates.
Well, I don't know, we can go through the list, but being Matt's here, we can maybe get an update on what's happening at the highway. If nobody else has got anything.
Moving down the list, the Budget and Finance Committee is continuing to meet with departments for those introductory meetings. We have some this afternoon, working on scheduling the last of them. Building Committee has not met. Personnel Committee has not met. We heard from the Solid Waste Committee, in the work session. We do have a Strategic Planning Committee meeting coming up in July. And then, yeah, Highway, if Matt has anything, and then if there's anything from Horizon Public Health or Western Prairie.
I have nothing from Horizon. I gave an update the last meeting there.
We haven't had a meeting since that, so.
Right.
And our Western Prairie, I don't think there's anything really happened since
Our last meeting.
2 weeks ago, but
That's on the 11th now, right? The next one.
right, yeah.
You got some big news for us, Matt, from the highway.
Not that I was aware of.
When are they planning on Pine Ridge?
Railroad Park or
Yeah.
Railroad 34?
Yeah,
They are working with the DNR to get their stream bypass approved, which they got this past week. So said they might start in a week, but it'll probably be at least a couple weeks for them to get there to start that project. Up on County Road 43 in Wendell, they self-driven gutter leak today, tomorrow, they'll be putting in the sidewalks. So that's coming along. So after they get that done, a couple weeks, they'll be ready for paving.
Did they get their drain taken care of, or?
Not 100% yet, still waiting to hear. But the project can still move forward, it's not gonna slow anything up. That issue, whatever the solution ends up being. And pipes were installed on 54 and Highway 2. We will have to come back to 54, since one of the pipe sections broke off the tongue. So we put that one on the end of the culvert, and they're making a new section right now. So we will have to end up taking the end section off at one piece and putting the new one back on. So that'll happen here. It'll be a week.
Did that happen, Matt, when they said it, or
I think it was
transport?
transport manufacturing. In fact, that's a hung on one of the sides of it completely cracked. It was manufacturing error. And on 55, they've been hauling in sand to get it built up, and needing the Otter Tail power to fold and move up right away. They started removing the pavement, I believe, yesterday. And they can start working in the water here today, since the DNR permit allows them to start working in the water today, so. And I think the state's coming down to meet with me tomorrow afternoon, we'll walk through it. And like I said, 34 will be starting a couple weeks from now.
Well, it's a good thing they got 2 and 54 done, the timing. And the ditch 3, I'm told, Aaron was telling me that that's completed, the repair that they did on ditch 3.
The project?
Yep.
Project?
Yep, so the ditch profile between County Road 2 and 54, you know, those culverts, and it all fits, and the drainage is working. It looks like it is. I was there yesterday and took a look.
Yeah, there's a lot of water moving.
Oh. They'd had to pipe water versus what they did. They just put a plug in the ditch. And
Yeah, they just
Did the
wanted to
install.
do it quick, plug the ditch and get the pipe in, but there's too much water coming, so.
Yep. Way too much.
Well, even like it, the Mustanka coming out of Pine Ridge, there's quite a bit of water in there too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one, it's a little bit more difficult, cause it would be easy just to short circuit and run the river, the Mustanka River on the south side of 34. But that DNR won't allow that. So, yeah, 2 passes put in, order to build over, so. Just the fun things you get to deal with.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Well, if we have nothing else, we'll adjourn at 10 o'clock.
Sure.